Can you hear the song? Yeah, exactly. This is meant to be an interactive and lively session. We all know law, legal lawyers. You guys are tough cookies. But I do have a lot of good lawyer, legal friends, and of course Warren do, right? And tonight is for those who have just joined us. Tonight we are doing a masterclass, AI agentic automation for lawyers. Now, as I always say, right, this topic or this slide contains a couple of keywords. Number one, of course, lawyers is your job, is your profession, and we know that there are a lot of different types of lawyers. I think we have like criminal lawyers, we have corporate lawyers, and we have lawyers who handle marriage counseling, and also lawyers who does like property and so on and so forth. But one thing that I find very interesting is the other three keywords, of course, AI agents and automation. So in the industry as such, right? As a typical Asian, typical Chinese in Malaysia, the few when I'm sure that you guys can still recall, right? Primary 1 to primary 6, you always have a card, and then the teachers will ask you to write your ambition. What is the job that you want to do? Of course, I don't know. Because my son is turning 7 next year. Most of the people during my time. Yeah, I'm talking about you, right? And most of the people around my age, I think back then when we write, first is of course doctors, and then firefighter, police. What else? What do you write, Warren? What's your ambition when it's primary 1?
My ambition was to marry a lawyer and end up marrying a lawyer.
Is that what you wrote? Primary 1 to primary 6. I know
Exactly.
I wrote
I always
police.
wanted to marry a lawyer, right? So,
Okay.
my lawyer wife will be joining this webinar shortly, just to share her experiences on automation. That has always been my numero uno ambition.
Yeah, okay. And then I think policeman, firefighter, and all those. And lawyers is always one of the top picks. Yeah. And so for those who is your first time joining webinar or our masterclass, this is Dr. Lau. I'm not a lawyer, but I became a doctor according to my mom wish list, but she did not pray properly. Her definition is not precise. So I became a PhD instead of the medical doctor. Okay, and then I got a PhD from artificial intelligence and machine learning. So my when I was doing my PhD, my research is all. Hey, my new mic should be working fine. My research is all around tax, which I will give you guys a bit more explanation why now is the best time for legal professionals, lawyers to pick up AI and how it has significantly improved for the past few years. And if you still read news or still watch TVs, you sometimes see me on the newspaper and also TV programs, news interview. I run a tech company called Accio Technologies. We do end-to-end AI solutions, consulting services as well. We help clients from different industries to do AI implementation, data analytics, and some of the key clients are IKEA, Intel, Job Corporations, and a lot of the household names that would have seen. The common ones are like I did Right Bank and CITOS, yeah. And our latest edition is Money Match. We just completed a 2 days in-house training for them, and I think you guys are yeah in a heavily regulated industry. Yeah. Okay. All right. With echo, try off your own mic. Yeah. No, no, no. There shouldn't be echo. Okay, so before I talk about automations and all those things, right? I actually want to talk about why is now the best time for lawyers and legal professional to actually learn AI automation. Now, if you remember, before 2022, before ChatGPT, we have a lot of data analytics going on already, but those are basically statistics. A lot of numbers. We do predictive analytics, we do classifications, we do customer preference, we do behavior analysis, and so on and so forth. But most of them are around structured data in the technical sense. That means it's always numbers. To be more precise, it's always rows and columns, or everything is about Excel. I'm sure that lawyers do use Excel, but not in a way to help you to analyze your content, and not in a way to help you to process your court cases, example, right? So, ever since 2022, things have changed slightly, okay? Quite a bit, not just slightly. So, we have ChatGPT. So, ChatGPT and any others generative AI that you're seeing in the market, let's say Gemini 3, okay? These are generative AI that's focused on text or unstructured data. So meaning that if you provide any sort of information, any sort of data, be it emails, PDF, PowerPoints, and so on, all these is able, the AI is able to read, process, and help you to do a lot of things. It can help you to process, it can help you to answer the questions, it can help you to summarize, and so on and so forth. So there's no better time than now for you guys to pick up artificial intelligence, especially generative AI. Now, another keyword is automation. So, when you talk about artificial intelligence rollout and implementation in modern organizations or modern enterprises, the one that I just mentioned, conversational chatbots that translate human prompts into action, are what most people call the AI. Go to the street, go out, take a nap anybody and say, hey, do you know AI? Everybody will just say, of course, I know AI. What are you talking about? But people will not think that there are actually 2 to 3 layers of AI, whether you call it competency or you call it like different kind of capabilities. Because the one that you use, let's say ChatGPT, they are fundamentally just a chatbot for you to talk to the foundational large language models. Okay, if you don't understand the technical terms or you didn't really hear those things, that's okay. You just think of it like a large databases. Okay, for the past 20, 30 years, when we have internet, when we have Windows, when we have computers, personal computers, everything is around structured data, is around database. Microsoft Access, Microsoft Excel, and SQL has been there for more than 30 years. But is there any real database that is designed for, let's say, like us, people like us, legal professionals, people who heavily rely on text to process data and do their work? Or if you look at doctors, let's say, right, other than reading the clinical trials, experiments, results, what about qualitative analysis? There are not that many tools that help you to do that. Okay, so we need to move on to level 2, which are the agents. So agents is different from the AI models that we are using. When you use agents, it primarily does three things. Number one, it helps to think and reason. So, given a problem, given a prompt, a questions, the agents will not just reply and respond straight away. It will actually go and do some thinking. And then, after they have planned out the whole thing, they'll come back and ask questions. They'll ask the users, okay, meaning us, what to do, ask for more inputs, and then it will come up with a plan itself. One of the key capability of an agent is the ability to plan. Let's say you can ask it to do some research for you, all right? A lot of us, we rely on let's say tools like Perplexity, Fellow, or your own proprietary tools to do search and research. But if you have an agent is able to execute the task multiple times, let's say you want to do some research of the same court case across different countries, whether it's in Malaysia, in Singapore, in Thailand, Indonesia, and so on and so forth, or you want to look across the industry for those things that happen in a particular industry, let's say F&B, does it happen in other industry or other countries as well? So these are the things that agents can do for us effectively. And sometimes you do want to have the next level of agentic capabilities, meaning that, let's say you are lawyers who are very busy, and sometimes you need to represent your client to attend hearings, go to the court, and you are not always sitting in front of the computers to use the chatbot to talk to the agent. This is where automation come in very handy. They can help you to do a lot of things, whether is it based on the schedule or is it based on a trigger, or you can design it as an agent that automatically responds to your queries, or when you ask certain things, you answer your questions like a chatbot. But it's not really just an basic LM chatbots, because you try to pull data from your own database or your own knowledge base. In 2026, knowledge base is going to be as important as database. If not, it's going to be more important, because we know that context is going to be a big thing in artificial intelligence scenes. Okay, so that's a bit of the background of modern organizations' implementation of AI. Now, the tools that we use, right? If you look at our websites, or you look at the clients that we have served before, Soundcheck, you come in strength 3. Okay. Okay, so the platform that I'm going to show you in the next moment is called NAN. NAN is a user-friendly automation tools that connects different application and services. Now, we do have different apps and services that we need to connect, that we need to pull data, or we want it to do some research for us, like I mentioned. But the cool thing about NAN is it's a visual drag and drop interface. That means you don't have to write code. I'm not expecting anybody, not just lawyers. I mean, whether you're accountants, like one of our trainers who is an accountant, we have another trainer who is UI UX directors, designers. I don't expect you guys to learn Python just because you want to build a small application or small automation workflows yourself. That's why we strongly recommend using nan.io. We're by all means, by no means related to NAN. We're basically just like the product, and we teach that because it's open software. It's not 100% open source in terms of the licensing. So you cannot reproduce, or you cannot modify the code and resell it in any other methods other than going through nan.io itself. But you're allowed to download the software, use it. You can even modify the things for your own use case and design your own custom workflow to execute it. So I think this is a very important part for legal professionals, because you are handling a lot of sensitive data. So a proper audit trail, a proper log that keep tracks of what you have done, what are the data that you have submitted, is very important. And not to be and don't forget, right? We can also use some local language models if you want to handle a lot of sensitive data, your client data that's not supposed to be exposed to the public, meaning that you are not supposed to upload to chatgpt.com. And if you I'm sure that you guys know how to read the terms and condition better than I do. But if you read the terms and condition of ChatGPT, you do notice that you have to you have to use the paid version, the enterprise version, in order for them not to use your data to train their model. But even if you're using the enterprise model, they promise that they are not using it to train their model, but they did not promise you that they will never use your data to improve their products and make their products better. Yeah, okay. So if there's any questions, do leave them in the Q&A section, okay? So I think NAN.io as an open platform, it gives us a lot of controls, a lot of security, and also a lot of assurance when we comes to using it to handle our data.
Yeah, I think
Right.
the other thing to also highlight, right, for NAN, besides the fact that you can host it locally, there's also another question about model sovereignty, i.e., if you are to use something like NAN, you can always switch between the different AI models easily, and you are not beholden to, let's say, OpenAI or Gemini or Microsoft or DeepSeek and so on and so forth.
Yes, and also for people who handles a lot of documents, text documents, etc. Um, Gemini or OpenAI, right? ChatGPT or GPT are not always the best solution. Like the one that I'm going to show you next is what we call Mistral. Okay, so this is what you're going to learn in the next 45 minutes or so. Okay, so let's go to nan.io. When you go to nan.io, all you have to do is just to sign up for an account. And then when you got your account, you log in and you will see a place like this where you can create your own workflows. Okay, so on the top right corner here, you just click create workflow. And this is your workspace. I think just now Kevin asked a question about, is there a generative AI that helps you to create a workflow? Now it's embedded inside NAN already. So you can just say, click build with AI, and then you say, what would you like to automate? So I would like to build a chatbot that helps me to answer legal questions that are related to Malaysia taxation laws. Okay, just simple like that. Yeah, and I explained to you why do you need to learn NAN, and also why you cannot rely on AI 100%. If you're using this for your own consumption, that means your personal use, as research, as learning, that's okay. But if you want to use it for production, you definitely need to know what went wrong. Okay, you definitely need to know how to put things together, and when there's an error message, what does the error message really means? Okay, while it's working, we don't touch it. All right, so I'll go back to the workflow and then I create another one. All right, so you click create workflow. And on your right hand side, there's a plus button here where you can look for a lot of things. Right now, I just want to show you the very basic, but a very basic node or action that gives you the highest leverage, okay, which is the AI agent. So once you click an AI agent, all you have to do is to select a model. So let's say I want to talk to OpenAI. I just click OpenAI chat model and then select the model that I want. You can do 4.1, you can do 5.1, and all the latest models are available here. Okay, and then here you go. You have a chatbot already. Yeah, you have a chatbot that's tied to your AI agent. Okay, so you guys go ahead, shoot some questions, and then I'll ask. Okay, Warren, you want to start?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. So if you have any questions about NAN as a whole, on how to bring everything together, let us know, and we will answer each of these questions. But right now, what we want to do is just give you an overview, right, on what exactly is an AI agent and different components within it.
Warren, do you have
Typically,
any legal question? Any legal questions related to Malaysian taxation law?
okay. I would like to dispose of my property in London. Do I have to pay Malaysian taxes? Because I'm a Malaysian tax resident.
Yes, this is beginner friendly. So I'm not going to be the guy that tell you, guys, look, this is very simple, this is very easy. Come take my NN class, learn it, and I guarantee you'll learn it. That's why I run this masterclass for you. Okay, you look at it and then you decide. You be the judge yourself, right? If you think that whatever I've shown you is too difficult or is too fast, then this and it might not be suitable for you. Okay, but if you think that the pacing is okay, the way that I explain things you can understand, this is exactly how we do it in the class. And we have tech teams. You have myself, Warren, one technical guy, one business guy, explain and guide you all through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's another question, right? Explain text neutralization in the simplest form. Why don't we try that, right? Explain text neutralization in Bahasa Melayu. To a teenager. Okay, let's try that. And not only that, right? We can also try that in Mandarin as well. Let's give it a go.
So for those of you who don't read Chinese, this means that please explain text neutralization to a 10-year-old kid in, I mean, you can see the spot the keywords, right? Yeah, text neutralization, 10-year-old, okay. So the explanation is, imagine you have a packet of candy, and then your mom say every time when you consume a candy, you must give her a candy as text. Yeah, so text neutralization. Okay, Ain, right? Okay, Ain, just look at the BM version. Are you happy with the explanation? Okay, for
Yeah.
those of you who want to know more about NAN, all those things, right? Leave your questions in the
Q&A group.
Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Otherwise,
will not
you won't
go
be able to
off
see.
until I answer all the questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, there's a question, right, from Kelvin Cole. Is there generative AI to design NAN automation? We've just shown it to you just now, right? There can
Yeah.
be a simple one where, by entering a prompt, you generate an agent like this. But sometimes it can still be a little bit messy at the current moment. So, having the understanding of how everything fits together is very helpful to connect the different nodes. At the end of the day, right, NAN is just a platform. It's a platform to orchestrate and connect across different platforms, whether it's your Microsoft Office or your Google Work Suite, as well as your knowledge graph, a website that you want to script from. And then you add on a model, a concept of memory, as well as different tools to trigger different actions. So it's an orchestration platform, right, to connect across different tools. Okay, I have already answered Kelvin's question. Next, Paul's question. Will image retrieval be demonstrated? Yes, basically, Paul, in all of our training, the first exercise that people go through is actually how to build a chatbot. Because every business, whether you're a law firm or you're a marketing agency or your e-commerce firm, right? Typically, you like to have a chatbot to answer a lot of standard questions so that you don't have to man it 24/7. In fact, if you go to any of our websites, we have a couple. Most of our queries are answered by the chatbots, so that Dr. Lau and I, we don't have to be in front of the phone or in front of the screen 24/7, right? So that's one thing. Lawrence, can't we already do this in a normal ChatGPT model? You can, but the question is, how do you want to host it within your own website? How do you want to link it to your own WhatsApp? Your own Telegram channels if you have groups of followers. You can also link it to other forms. Basically, a chatbot is only one form of an agent, right? But you can use the agent to have different triggers, right? Dr. Lau, maybe you can show, right? You have the form trigger, you have the schedule trigger, and so on and so forth, right? Here in this particular case, the simple example that we're highlighting over here is just using the agentic framework to create a simple chatbot. But many of the other use cases would be, for example, I upload a PDF or I upload an image. I use the AI model, whether it could be OpenAI or Gemini or Mistral, to extract the text data, run it through the AI agent, analyze it, respond to it, personalize for it, and then format it so that it becomes something that's useful in a certain way, right? In fact, for example, when we did the last session with one of the fintech companies, right? For all of them who are non-technical, within 5 minutes or so, they were able to create dashboards. So AI agents can be used across different types of use cases then, right? So apart from chatbot, what tasks can be automated by these tools? Okay, we will showcase a few examples just to glance through. A simple example will be, let's say, for example, you have 100 emails coming to you, right? And you want to get them funneled according to your IP practice, your property practice, your criminal law practice, your, I don't know, marriage counseling practice, right? Based on the keywords can be routed and then can be passed on to the relevant people. Other examples would be where, for many of you who are doing conveyancing, as an example, right? And you've got bulk processing for 20 properties per week. So instead of manually having to input the fields one by one, it can be automated using a combination of mail merge and NAN, as well as AI agentic automation to customize it as well as to fill it up. So that instead of spending a few hours every single week, it'll just take you like literally 15, 20 minutes. And what you need to do is just check it, right? These are just some of the examples. We will showcase some of the workflows then, right? We won't go through all of them, but just to give you a little bit of flavor of what's possible, right? Yeah, but I'll leave it to Dr. Lau to just explain the concept of an AI agent first, so that conceptually you get what it is, right? Using this concept of a chatbot.
Okay, so the second question that you might have in mind is, so now, okay, you build an agent and you build an AI model. Okay, so how do you use it? Okay, there are a few ways. Number one, you want to expose it and make it into a public chatbot. So no matter what lawyers you are, right, you always have time that you need to answer a lot of queries. I mean, no matter what industry you are, even if you're in my industry, you are in retail, whatever, always got people come and ask. It's part of the lead qualifying process, I would say, right? Not lead generation. I will show you the lead generation process in a short while. So you can just turn this into an actual chatbot and then activate it. And now it's live. Okay, I can share this with you. And some of you asked the question. Okay, and straight away you can use this as a chatbot already. Okay, hi there, start a chat. We're here to help you. Okay, so what you're going to do, I can paste this in the chat window. Quite a number of you asked whether you can connect to Lexis or CLJ or any of your paid services. As long as it's a web service, you can always connect to it and use HTTP requests. If it has an API, you can connect to it through an API. If not, you can connect it through traditional different types of authentications like username and password or basic authentications and so on and so forth. So there are different types of authentication that is supported. So as long as the databases that you mentioned, they are online services, you can do that too. Now, if not, if let's say you want to go to eHakiman, you want to scrape all those things, I don't know how you guys do it currently. My guess is you hire some juniors, those people who are under you, like your disciples, right, to do some of the preparation work for you. But if they know how to use NAN, they can use another tool called AP5. Basically, it's a web scraping tool. So you can ask them to go and scrape the court cases, scrape the results, and all the details that you need to know for a certain, what do you call it? The court, certain court. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we answer a few questions. Laura, will this be applicable for or useful for in-house corporate legal departments? Yes, depending on how you want to use it, right? As an example, I'll give an example of how HR departments use it across the large organizations that we train, right? All the time, they have people asking the standard questions from the employee handbook, and then they have somebody junior answering it manually, right? What is my leave policy? What's my reimbursement policy? And so on and so forth, right? But for legal, as an example, perhaps you can put in your anti-money laundering policy, your compliance policy, or also your list of legal documents and templates, which you expect your commercial and business development people to fill up themselves before sending to legal for review. So that's an example of how you can actually automate using something like this internal chatbot, right? Where when there's a request for HR to send out something new or a letter of offer over to a candidate, as an example, without going through the legal department, or to extract and get a simple NDA and customize accordingly, right? So the chatbot and the AI agent can do that. So that's one of the use cases I can think of, like, for internal legal teams, right? Kok Yu, apart from chatbot with the high risk of hallucination, what tasks can be automated by these tools? We will showcase some examples then, right? But very shortly, we just cover this chatbot first so that all of you will get a little bit of an understanding. And then after that, I'll take over to share the screen a little bit from the Notion notes, and or Dr. Lau can actually share and run through, some of the examples that we have done for the other clients as well. Right. How big is the storage for this free version? Maybe Dr. Lau, you might want to explain the concept of memory in this case then.
So the one that I'm showing you here is basically an online version. So they don't really have a limits when it comes to storage because it's really a small file. And if you want to store your data, your PDFs, all those, it's actually residing on your own server. Yeah, whether you store it on your repository or whatsoever, right? Then that is considered your own databases, so it does not affect the storage. The actual workflow files are basically really, really small. Yeah. Okay. And then, okay, so now you build an agent, right? So my point is AI agent is not just a tool for you to build your chatbot. So for example, right, you can come over here and go to system message. Let's say you are somebody who are an in-house corporate lawyer. So you can go to chatgpt.com and everything is legal until you get caught. You
The
of course,
irony is coming from somebody whose name is Keith Hakim.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Hakim is here, right? So we can trust that. So look, you if you look at this, right? You can say, help me to write a system message that I want to use it as an AI agent for my in-house corporate lawyer. Okay, to make things more specific, yeah, I'm running a restaurant, a chain, fast food
Actually,
restaurant.
maybe Dr. Lau, let's make it a little bit more relatable to the lawyers as well. Make me sound like Harvey Specter from Suits. Sound like Harvey Specter from Suits.
Harris Factor.
Harvey
Harry. Harvey?
Specter.
Spec
I'll put it. Yeah, from Suits.
Spectre, right? This one, right? From
Yeah.
Suits, right? Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that this is an eye-opening experience for most of you because you didn't really get to see what is working behind the scene for most of the AI agents and also most of the GPTs. Okay, so GPT, yeah, I don't know. Okay. GPTs are actually the models, and ChatGPT is the applications that provide you the service for these sort of models. And then what you want to do is we are now building our own mini version of the ChatGPT to serve our own purpose. Okay, so let's say, right, we copy and paste this one back to our workflow here. All right. Any question you want to ask, Warren? In-house corporate lawyer as a
Um,
for FMB.
okay. So basically, my restaurant staff spilled some hot coffee on a customer from China.
McDonald's. Uh, okay.
She's suing us
Yeah.
for her injuries as well as emotional damage. What can I do?
Harry Specter. You want a short, sharp playbook case? Contain the damage immediately. Transparency is your best friend. Medical records. Okay. We have about we have almost 300 legal professionals here. What do you guys think about the answer? Is that correct? Let's see what the audience
think can.
responds. What do you guys think? See, the lawyers are getting very serious
A bit quiet.
here. Yeah, too quiet. Malaysian
Bincang
style,
tepi.
bincang tepi.
Okay. Or I'll tell you what, why don't we draft something like to offer a settlement outside of court? Right? Ask you to draft something out. You will
Well,
ask like,
actually,
what is the difference between using this and ChatGPT, right? The reason why we are showcasing this to you is to show you actually what is in behind the scenes for AI agents, right? How does it work, right? In terms of the different components that go to fit inside it, so that once you understand the components, you can control it. Because I mean, we won't go through the whole depths of it, but in this particular example, right, for AI agents, right, when we click on something like tools, right, Dr. Lau, you can show the ability to actually connect to things like your Google Calendar, your Calendly, your Docs, your previous case files, as a way to answer and call upon references, and also trigger certain actions. There's the difference between using something like this, which you can orchestrate across different platforms and call upon different sources of information and trigger actions in comparison to using something like ChatGPT alone, right? For example, Google Sheets, right? Or Google Calendar or Microsoft Teams.
yep. Okay. Any questions? You guys may leave it at the Q&A. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is something that I think in my own words when we do sales and marketing is for lead generations or to answer your customers. So let's say you are a lawyer, right? Whether what industry you are in, these will help to use as a chatbot. So you can use this to set the boundaries instead of just connecting it. You can't just ask your customers or your clients to use ChatGPT and come and talk to you because they might be recommended or to be driven away to other lawyers or to some random places. And also you cannot contain the information that you want to present. Some of the things you may or may not want to say, you can all configure it here at your system message. And also quite a number of you were concerning about reading from external knowledge. So you can read from external database here and also get from your, like let's say MongoDB or your vector store, which are the common places where you store information. And what I'm going to show you is you can also use this as a more personalized way or as a more private way, and you connect it to Gmail. So you can use it to fill up a form. Okay, you ask your
So in
visitor.
a way, right, this is to answer Isabel's question already, how to use NF for conveyancing. So we are showcasing, how to string different processes together. So that, number one, you can check on the status. Number two, it can be processed. Number three, it can be understood. And number three, it can trigger certain actions, right?
Yep. Okay, and then you can ask them to fill out a form. Let's say your name and then your email. Okay, and then your questions. Okay, and once I execute that, okay, form trigger. No, okay, I use the wrong one. All right. Okay. Contact us form and form element name email. then your questions. Yeah. Okay, done. Right now. Okay. Your turn, Warren. What questions do you have? Any legal
Uh,
question?
wow, you're asking me to think of question on the spot right now.
It's
Okay.
okay. I'm making RM 500K this year. How can I evade tax?
No,
It's
how can I optimize for tax?
uh,
Right.
no, that one is an accountant's problem. How can I optimize my tax legally? Okay. All right. So you submit. All right. Then your questions will come to the your back end to be collected, right? And then you can pass this to an AI agent, to the same AI agent that you have just now. Uh, so this time around, you're no longer a corporate lawyer for you are a tax lawyer who are specialized.
Who specializes in setting up offshore entities.
Yeah. Entities. Okay. All right.
You
And
are an
then
expert on, let's say, Virgin Island, Panama, right? Labuan.
Labuan.
Okay.
Of all places. All right. And then this is the part where you pump the questions from the form, right? Okay. So the question is, I'm making fun. How can I optimize my tax legally? So this is the beautiful part. Every time when somebody asks you a legal question, so then you can ask AI to help you and to answer these questions for you, and we can connect it to a mailing note. Okay. And this is all what we'll cover in our AI for Lawyers class next month, and also our AI automation class, which Warren will share more details with you. Okay, so we can just use it to reply the email. Say, all right, and then this is the output.
You're sending to yourself, right?
Yes, I'm sending to myself. Yeah. Okay. And you are seeing this because this is markdown format and I did not turn it into a HTML. So all I have to do is to add another agent to format it properly. But you can see
I
the
think Dr. Lau,
result.
let's show it to them, lah, right? So that they can understand how easy it is, right, to even generate a nicely formatted email.
No problem. Okay. Now give me a second. Any questions? You can,
Yeah.
yeah, open it. Any questions? You can leave them at the Q&A note. Yeah. I'll see message or model.
So there's a question from Afnan, right? So what is the element that has to be there? Number one, you need to have the orchestration platform, which in this case we're using NAN. It can also be other platforms that you could be familiar with. Number two, you must have the LM model, which in this particular case we're using OpenAI. But during the course, we will use a variety of different models so you can understand what's the difference between OpenAI and Gemini and Mistral and Grok and DeepSeek. And when do you actually apply the different models accordingly then? Right.
Prefixes.
So Isabel, right, on your question about conveyancing, right, basically we're just showcasing some simple um, examples of connecting different processes together. So at the end of it, your conveyancing flow is a flow of interconnected processes. So the idea is actually using the different Lego blocks to connect them together.
Okay, for those of you who are getting the 4.4 message, I think there are too many people accessing at the same time. So don't worry, you keep the URL, or maybe I accidentally off it, and you can come back and try it later. Yeah. Okay. No worries.
I think it's because you shifted the from the chat over to trigger-based workflow.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah, because basically, Dr. La has already
yeah.
replaced the chat workflow with this trigger-based workflow.
Okay,
So
and
there you
now
go.
it's nicely presented, nicely formatted.
And this is without Dr. La having to type any reply on an email. It's all automatically answered by the AI. But in your particular case, right, if you want the chatbot or the agent to answer based on your knowledge base and your knowledge graph, and also your legal precedents, or the Malaysian tax code, or so on and so forth, right, or certain legal frameworks, then it's just a matter of appending the right knowledge base and connecting it together via the tools.
Yep. Okay. So this is what
I
I'm trying
think,
to show. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead,
Dr.
Rocco.
Lau, maybe I'll share my screen, right? I'll showcase some of the other examples because they were asking about other samples of applications
Sure, go ahead.
within NN. Okay, so I'll just give you an overview. We will not be going through all of them, right? Because these are just some of the things that we've been helping some of the legal firms do, right? For example, in this particular case, you've got new clients filling a form. It comes into the whole KYC process. It gets analyzed by the agent, which will do the background check on the legal entity as well as the people behind it. And then it will update the Excel sheet. And then based on certain conditions, it will generate a template, right, to request for additional documents in order to be passed on and formatted and then sent through by email, right? This is a simple example of stringing a few pieces of information and actions together via different triggers. Of course, all of you will have slightly different processes, but as long as you understand the different parts of how to string them together, then you can adapt the workflows accordingly to your requirements, right? So in this case, it's just prospect validation, doing background checks, and then sending email notifications automatically. Other examples that we did, another one was legal email follow-up, right? So from a list, right, of client prospects or clients that you're already servicing, based on certain timing, certain emails are sent out every 3 months, every 6 months, every 9 months as a way to keep the relationship warm, right? So if they reply, then the AI agent will extract the replies, understand it, analyze it, and based on the reply status, automatically also send a follow-up message or escalate accordingly to your managing partner or the different teams that's supposed to be handling different accounts, right? There was also another workflow that we created where it was based on automatically routing the different files which are coming in through emails with different tags so that they can be stored automatically according to different running numbers in different folders. So a lot of these tasks, these are kind of like administrative, right? As a way to automate a lot of this filing where currently, presumably, a lot of such activities are done manually by different folks. And whenever somebody leaves, right, then the knowledge gap exists as well. Another example would be, yes, KYC document processing. Once the documents are uploaded into the Google Drive, it gets automatically populated in terms of the required fields into a spreadsheet. For example, one might upload their SSM certificates, right, as well as their registration details. And then instead of having somebody junior to manually type it into the system or type it into a spreadsheet, it can be automatically extracted using an AI agent, key into a spreadsheet, and then after that, with the code base as well as the AI agents, it can be structured accordingly and put inside placeholders in documents. Right? It could be, yeah, basically it's very similar to mail merge. And then it's subsequently stored inside the drive, or you can also trigger further actions for escalation. Other examples would be, having a KYC process with human approvals. So once it has been processed, then somebody needs to click approve before it gets sent and passed over to another department or another division for further escalation. Yeah, this is a simple example of an OCR flow where upon being uploaded into the Microsoft OneDrive, which many of you are on Microsoft, right? If it fulfills certain conditions, then download the file automatically, run some certain actions for it, analyze the document, extract the required information based on the prompt, put it into a spreadsheet, and then trigger a receipt. In this case, it was more to do with, let's say, chasing for invoicing, right, and payments. Yeah. So many of you might also have a manual process in terms of chasing for payments, right, and chasing for progress payments. So again, all of these things can be automated, especially for the smaller law firms, right? If you're one or two or three man firm, and you don't want to spend too much time doing all this administrative work, having simple workflows like this can help to remove a lot of stress, right, and free up the mental headspace for you to conduct and do more sales instead. Yeah, legal bank statement processing, for let's say any of you who have to deal with loan documents from banks on behalf of the clients, once you get it as well, it can be scanned, you can store it electronically, as well as extract the information, compare against the bank statement, spit out the data, format it accordingly, and then store it into a Google Sheet or Excel in order for you to either trigger further actions or refer to it very easily. Legal invoice, same lah, right? A lot of these are quite similar. So there was also another one. There was a request where, for example, if you are running a company secretarial firm, right? You've got different year-end closing periods and you've got different filing periods. And now, what somebody has to do is check the spreadsheet in order to send reminders out manually every single day. All these things can actually be automated. Because as long as you have the start date, you have the end date, and you have the n+3, n+6, n+9, n+12, all these things can be programmed so that every single day, what you need to do is just scan through it, click the button, and it gets sent out automatically. Syncing across different sheets. Basically, if you have a lot of workflows which rely on inputting data manually, right, or comparing between spreadsheets, triggering different communications manually, right? Then something like NAN would be a good solution for you because you can orchestrate across different platforms. So these are just some examples from a legal perspective, right? If I were to show you other Notion files, right? Okay, I mean we've done training for Right Bank, Mr. DIY, Alkern. So let's take a bank as an example. Many of you are probably from a banking background, right? So things like matching between documents and matching between spreadsheets versus the proposal. Checking for the price schedule or checking for inventory. So maybe you have different rates. For you to draft an NDA, right? You have a certain rate. For you to draft an SPA agreement, right? You have a certain rate. For you to hold something in escrow or you go into estate execution, there's a certain rate. So when people are asking you, then you can give your standard answers now based on your own knowledge graph, right? By just referring to a certain spreadsheet. So these are all the notes that we pass on to the people that we've trained as well, right? So there was also a request to compare between spreadsheets, right, and get it reconciled to trigger further actions. OCR receipts as well. Many of you deal with claims, right? I've got an envelope of claims as well myself, right? So does Dr. Lau. So what we do is that we automate the whole thing where we scan it, we send it through our Telegram or WhatsApp, and then it gets automatically filed by NAN itself into a spreadsheet so that it's easier for the bookkeeper to record accordingly. And it saves a lot of hassle for us to have to fill in and scan our own receipts and put it into a form manually, right? Receipt scanner, Telegram bot triggers. You probably have a lot of leads coming to you via WhatsApp, via email, via your own web form. But essentially, all of these three things can go into the same AI agent that Dr. Lau has demonstrated just now for the tax lawyer, and to give the same answer, and it just spits out the output back to whichever channel it will come from. Yeah, so these are just some examples now, right? To give you a little bit of flavor of what's possible in terms of automation. And you can split it according to two things now, right? One is your day-to-day operations. The other is how you can improve on the way you do your legal work. Right. So day-to-day operations would be like leads management, right? Client outreach, keeping the relationship warm, right? And then when the forms are in, whether it's for KYC purposes or processing purposes, from certain people, from certain emails with certain triggers, it can be routed across to different set workflows. Right. Something like this will help a lot in terms of reducing time for coordination and operations really. Other things would be like chasing for payments, right? Negotiating some simple terms or passing the right templates over to certain stakeholders so that you don't have to manually reply to all these kind of inquiries. So those are internal operations, right? For filing, for billing purposes, for standardized replies, right? Concerning things which will include things like policies, right? Then the other thing as well is doing your legal work. How do you actually go into deeper research, right? How do you, for example, when you have a new client coming to you, right, and you don't know much about the client, right? Right now, you probably spend a few hours researching about the client online, and compiling a dossier. Now with AI agents as well, a simple 10-minute job would suffice to actually create a quite a thick dossier on a particular company, the structure and different things for you to be aware of so that you can serve them better through a more thorough understanding. Right. So that's another example, right, of potential ways to use it within the legal profession. Right. Any other questions? Q&A, right? Let's take some of the questions. Right. Uh, for conveyancing, yeah, I say, I have a PDF template document, particularly SMP document. I would like to have automation where you can fill up. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's mail merge. So as long as you can extract the customer details from a PDF, put it into a spreadsheet, then from a spreadsheet, right, every single row is one particular customer or one particular transaction. You can then use NAN to call upon it to actually fill in the legal documents automatically. Right. This is a universal request for all law firms who are doing conveyancing. From Kim Hui, right? Are we able to scrape data from law sites like CLJ and feed into LM Notebook and OpenAI for more comprehensive things? Well, I mean, I don't know about CLJ. I don't know about LexisNexis, right? It depends on their scraping control. But during our 2-day sessions, typically we will cover a bit of scraping so that you can understand how to scrape from, let's say, for example, a company website, right? Or you want to have a list of lawyers from, let's say, the California bar, right? Because you're trying to look for partners servicing the US market, right? So that kind of scraping is possible as well. In fact, as an example, yeah, we were looking into marketing for, let's say, for example, the lawyers in Singapore. And then, within the Singapore Bar website, we're able to scrape through, the thousands of contact details so that we can actually send information to them specifically, right? Mel's question: how big is the storage for this free version? I think it depends on your requirements really, but in the particular case, right, most of the information will still be stored using your own files, your Google Drive or your OneDrive. Then it's just a matter of calling into the AI agent, right, to serve it. And in this particular case, a simple memory will be good enough for most of the law firms then. I think maybe Dr. La, let's take some of the other questions in the general chat, right?
Most of them I also answered already. Say for example, like if you want to use things like combining multiple models to give you the best result, or you want to have asking it to help you to draft agreements, these are all doable because it's end-to-end and you can customize your own workflow to do that for you. And also you can upload PDFs to chat with it. So another thing that is closely related to legal or to laws is that a lot of the documents are PNC, all right, or you're in the drafting stage. You're not supposed to upload to any things like Notebook LM or these to help you to summarize or to extract information. And NAN is a perfect tool for that because you can craft your own workflow, do your own extraction all locally. You can download and run it on your own local machine even. Yeah, your on your own laptop, wherever you feel safe. And you can even for some of our clients who are doing scientific science research, R&D, medical, all those, they run it on their own servers, and that server is not connected to internet by all means. So they just manually bring the data, USB sticks, put into the servers and run it there together with their DNA sequencing, protein folding projects. Yeah, that's a pretty normal practice as well.
Yeah. So Harris's question: what's the recommended scraping tool? Right, you can check out things like Epify, even within NAN itself, there are also Epify nodes, right? Maybe Dr. Lau, you can open up your NAN screen again.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
So during our 2-day course, we would teach about using Epify or Firecrawl depending on the requirements of the audience over there.
Yeah, so we do. I think I have AP5.
I think we just open up a standard workflow. We don't have to run it now, but they can
Okay.
see there's Apify notes.
Yeah. I have too many of
Yeah.
yeah. But I can
Yes.
share. Yeah.
Yeah, Harris, some websites do block scraping. Yes. So, it's always a chicken and, basically, a cat and mouse game, lah, right? So the ones who are more technically adept will find ways to work around it. But the more complex websites, right? Especially something like LexisNexis, right? That's the proprietary information. That's the core value of it, right? So they wouldn't allow anybody to scrape automatically.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just showing you the one that Warren had just mentioned, right? Like if you want to go to Malaysian Bar Council, we want to scrape some information about particular lawyers. We just basically have to post. You're just pretending like you are visiting a website, and then you post it, and you will get the results already. So scraping itself is definitely not something that's very hard or very difficult. I'm sure that we will see some of you guys' names here as well. Yeah. So unless you're breaking people rice bowl lah, like the one that Warren has just mentioned. Okay, so it's something that's related to confidential, or you are breaking other people's terms of use, meaning that you are using it not in the way that it was intended. Then yes, you are not allowed to do so. I mean, you guys know it better than us, right? But from a
Yeah.
technical standpoint, any website, as long as it's a website, you can log in, enter username and password to browse. You can just do a normal browsing request, and you can scrape the results. No issue.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll just share my screen very quickly
Yep.
on it. Right? I mean, we did script through the Malaysian Bar website, and then basically, I can tell that Christopher Lee's firm has 127 people, registered with the Malaysian Bar as an example, right? Rahmat Lim has 122, so it's all ranked based on a number of people, lah. So depending on the kind of data that you need, right? At the end of the day, yeah. So all this can be useful as a way for you to do industry research, as well as to understand what will be the different requirements and how to actually apply on it, lah. But maybe we can pass over to Clarice, right, who's on the call right now. She's a legal professional, and now she's an in-house legal counsel with one of the tech startups, right? Maybe Clarice, you can comment a little bit, like, after going through the NAN classes, right? How has it changed in terms of the way you work?
Hi everyone, my name is Clarice, and I have been practicing for a while. In my early days, half of my career was spent there. Another half of my career is spent in-house. So I do understand, how it works in law firms generally. I was working for big law firms who, of course, have a bit more sophisticated legal practice management tool in place. But I've also spoken to various different smaller firms, who run their practice in different ways without necessarily having all these tools in place. And so, for me, I think NAM will especially be quite a game changer for smaller firms in general who might not want to invest or pay for subscription for expensive tools out there. So that's one. And, if you come from mid-tier or bigger law firms, then my view is more on, what is your secretary currently doing, right? Because I remember I used to have a secretary when I was practicing, and, she helps out with all sorts of like admin related work. Also, from that standpoint, also, in terms of junior lawyers, what are they doing? So these are areas that we can think when it comes to efficiency, how we can use NAN to complement your existing practice for those who come from bigger law firms. But for smaller law firms, I think, my training when I went for the course is a 2-day course. Before I joined, I actually looked up like some YouTube videos. I must say that I was a bit overwhelmed because I couldn't really quite make head and tails when I watched the NAN videos, right? The way they explained was slightly complicated, and I felt that, yeah, maybe I really cannot do it. It's not for me. But then, I joined the course realizing that the most important thing is that it's hands-on, right? So you bring your laptop, you set out the accounts, you figure out how to build the notes. And if you're not sure, there are always facilitators around to help, right? So then from there, I realized, oh my gosh, it's so easy to build things, right? But of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing sort of journey. I mean, it took me some time sometimes to Google a little bit. You know, every IT person will probably end up looking through like GitHub or just asking ChatGPT why is it that it's not working and all. But I think the end result was quite satisfying. Like if you're able to build something that is useful to you, then and I'm sure that it will be useful to a lot of people that are here in this call today. It's a question of it's a bit hard to generalize like, oh, lawyers, this is the workflow that will be applicable to you. I realize that, we all come from very different practice areas like conveyancing or IP or litigation or whatever, right? Every practice area has its own process flow, and even within the various different firms, right? The way you run your operations are also quite different. So I think NAN is basically quite flexible in that because you're able to basically Lego blocks lah. You're able to mix and match lah, and tailor it according to what will work for your firm. So for me, number one, yeah, it was daunting at first, but I realized that it is not that difficult after when you've gone through yourself hands-on. Even if you don't end up building it yourself, because maybe your time is better spent doing something else, right? Marketing out there and whatnot. But at least have the idea on how you can connect these things together. That would be something that would be really useful. And my biggest takeaway from there. And even after doing that course, I mean, I subsequently tried writing my own scripts, right? And it's like, wow, so cool. I can write my own script. But, in the past, it was only like me talking to IT people. Wow, you're writing scripts. Can you help me write scripts? Because I want to make the process a bit more efficient. But a lot of times, especially like coming from legal department, it's not always seen as priority when we have requests. So then we have to learn ourselves. Like in the past, when I was in Astro, I was trying to figure out whether there was a way for me to automatically rename some documents in the folder when I receive a request from somebody, right? So we managed to do that ourselves, but it was very painful because we had to search the internet. We have to figure out what a JSON is. But we managed to implement it at the end of the day, which was great. But here now, the technology has moved so fast that in NAN, I might not even need to know what or be able to write a code for purposes of JSON. I mean, I can use ChatGPT to write it, and then I'll post it into NAN. So main takeaway is NAN is more understand the bigger picture of how things can link together, and then subsequently, see, well, I suppose, the fruits of the results of what you've built. So that's what I would like to say about the course and also my personal experience learning NAN. I know there are a lot of concerns about confidentiality and is it safe for information to be posted out there and whatnot. I mean, Dr. Lau has also mentioned you don't necessarily need to host it in the cloud. You can always do it via like locally, but then of course then you have to learn how to set up like Docker and whatnot. So all this can be done. It's just a question of how you would want to design this process. And then, I suppose, I've answered some of the questions, hopefully, and I hope I've also answered your question, Warren.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe I'll take Zuzarif's question, right? Can I create a WhatsApp conversation? Yes, you can, right? So if I were to show you how we're eating our own dog food, right? You can check out, some of our sites, ailegal.thelead.io. Click on this WhatsApp bot. It will open up our chat bot. Try to break it, right? But essentially, this is how Dr. Lau and I manage the business, right? And we have trained hundreds of people, but we're not in front of the screen to answer all the questions all the time. So the key thing is actually how to actually automate it so that we can focus on the other things which will require more of our pressing attention, right? So that's one example of using chatbot, right? To automate on a WhatsApp perspective. right? And then there are also other questions. Give me a
I
sec.
think this is a part where we can totally feel the lawyers, right? Because we're on the same page. We're always in meetings, and then you guys are always in meetings with clients, attending the, going to the course, attending hearings and things like that. So you're not on your phone all the time, but we don't know when people will send us WhatsApp messages. So a system like this will be very helpful and also help us to qualify the leads in certain ways.
Yeah, so I can go to the chatbot very easily, right? Just click open app. Okay, I don't think you can see my screen anymore. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'll answer Alex's question first, right? Can I prepare a system to replace or supplement my accountant's work? To supplement, yes, for sure, right? To replace a lot of the manual data entry and processing work, yes, as well, right? Some example would be, I don't know. I mean, many of you are probably from, have dealt a little bit with crypto, for example, right? The head of operations for one of the largest crypto sites in the world attended one of our training sessions, and then at the end of 2 days, even though he is not a technical person, he was able to build a Telegram bot to answer a lot of the questions. And we asked him, right? How much time has it freed up? He said basically, basically it's freed up almost 10 FTE equivalents of work. So similarly, right, with a lot of the firms that we are involved with, especially the larger ones, they've got 40, 50 people doing financial reconciliation, right? And for another chain where they've got a lot of people, a lot of branches, every single day, whenever they bank in the cash through to the bank, they need to take a picture of the slip, send it via WhatsApp over to the HQ. Somebody at the HQ level would key in manually into the system, right? So those kind of work, right, can be automated, right, and should be automated, and you will learn how to automate all these things, right? That's our guarantee to all of you. Whenever you spend 2 days on a hands-on course like this, right? Kelvin's question, right, Dr. Lau, right? How would you interface this end-to-end automation for the law firm client? I assume they won't access this end-to-end dashboard and see all the processes. Well, I suppose, number one, if you are to set up yourself, you will be able to access it and you can see the number of runs, who ran it. You can do the audit. When it fails, you know where it fails. And once you're able to read it, you can troubleshoot, right? But on the other hand as well, if you're using it for internal operations, but to serve the clients, right, you don't have to show the workflow. Because what you can do is that you can show a form and you can show a chat interface. They don't need to see what's happening in the background, right? That background is your process orchestration part, Kelvin.
So the best part about NAN is not only it digitalizes your manual workflow, so it releases your hands, and also you can use it to build a powerful back-end engines that actually runs all the processes. And all you have to do is just to attach a front end to it. And the front end can be, like Warren said, as simple as a user interface, like a forms or a chat interface. The one that I showed you earlier, you can also integrate with your existing systems. Then you can talk to the system via those interfaces. Or if you want something that's more secure, you can also use Telegram. When I say secure, it's not in terms of the data security, but it's in terms of the communication channel and also encryption of the message, etc. And you always don't like the feeling of typing something in the WhatsApp and you see that in your Facebook ads next moment, right? Yeah. So these are some of the ways to do it.
Okay. I think I messed up my screen already, right? Maybe Dr. Lau, can you open up the Canva slides then, right? Yeah.
It's okay. I think you can just share again.
No, I closed the window automatically.
Okay,
right?
no problem. Yeah,
my tabs are all closed.
Okay, I'll go straight to the.
Go to slide number 29, right?
29. Yep.
So this is a bit of fun, right? I mean, okay. So actually, now go to slide 30 first.
Wait, if you want to show the video, I need to on the sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. The sound one doesn't work when we have multiple presenter. Yeah. We
Okay,
go to
slide 30 first.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, there are two things. One is that we'll have a 6-hour online session that's happening on the 13th of December. This is the first time we're running a long form webinar session where it gives the audience and participants an overview about what's possible with AI. So we will cover things like the terminology and glossary so that we all of you will reach a certain level of understanding to be able to hold conversations, Right? What exactly is LLM? What exactly is training, right? What exactly does memory mean, or system messages actually mean, right? Or AI agents mean? What's the difference between DeepSeek and Qianwen and OpenAI and Gemini and Claude and Anthropic, right? So you can understand. You will also understand the basis of setting up your own chatbot. As well as attaching a kind of like a knowledge graph, right, for it to be able to refer to it. You will also understand things like the possibilities with OCR. OCR means optical character recognition, so that from the documents it can be scanned, whether it's an agreement or it's an invoice, it's a receipt. It would then be pulled to be populated into a spreadsheet or a database, and you can handle things accordingly. You also get some exposure in terms of how to build a simple landing page, just like the landing page I was showing just now, right? Of some of our courses over there. Those are all wipe coded by me, who's a non-technical person, right? There will also be some demonstrations on how to deepen research and perform analysis using AI agents. And then marketing with AI, right, to increase sales and outreach also. I think all of you are also interested in trying to find more clients, right, and trying to stand out without running afoul of the rules and regulations. That's how you can reach out, right? So I think, Dr. Lai, if you go back to the previous slide. Yeah, so these are all videos that we've created using AI ourselves. We can just play one. Oops.
It's trying to play all together.
Try to play all together.
Yeah, that was this.
Okay. Play one. Oh, I know, it's because it's embedded inside my Google Drive.
Correct,
You
yeah.
should have access to it, but I don't know whether Canva has.
Lawyers, if you have been wondering how AI can actually improve the way.
So this is AI generated, right? We also showcase, how these things are also possible as a way for you to showcase your services there. Now, Mike, I think let's go back to the slide 30 first. So if you're interested, right, for this 6-hour webinar, you can check out the website. There's a link over there, ailegal.theleap.io. I will include the link over here. Right. And then if you go on to and you will get 3 workflows, right? You get your own AI WhatsApp chatbot, AI text classifier, as well as an AI transcriber, right? And which after going through it, you can set up yourself, right? And use it to start automating some of the processes that you have within the organization, right? Or if you need help from us, we can also do it for you, right? But that's a separate piece altogether. Next is, if you want to go for something which is a little bit more in depth, right? This is the main course that we've been selling all the while, right? We've trained about 800 people so far, from people from Shopee, from RightBank, from Mr. DIY, MyNews, Zeus. We're going to train T-Life, Tim Lewis, 2X Marketing, right? And essentially everybody will go for a 2-day hands-on class where you will work through 6 to 8 examples yourself. So Dr. Lau and I, we have this philosophy. You have to go through it yourself, right, to really understand what's possible. And then once you identify what's possible, you can do a few things after the 2 days hands-on session. Either you can build workflows of your own, or you can read workflows of others and customize accordingly and combine the different Lego blocks together. Or number 3, when you speak to vendors or you speak to the IT department, you can have a more informed conversation, right? So that you will not get wool pulled over your eyes. Concerning what can or cannot be done and what's the associated cost with it. And I think for many of you, right, especially in the legal fraternity or sorority in this case, right, it's also about getting yourself up to speed in terms of the terminology to have an educated conversation with the clients that you'll be servicing, right? So if you want to learn how to design and deploy professional workflows, you want to, it's actually not 5 premium workflows. We need to update it right now. Typically we share 6 to 8 workflows, right? People will work through it together and we will send it via the notes tool, and you get a group project. Let's update that.
Yeah.
Basically, it's 8, 9, 10. I can't remember exactly. We're teaching so much, right? From scraping. No, the first one is within the first 2 hours, you build your own chatbot. And then after that, you go to OCR. And then after that, you learn how to scrape. And then you learn how to perform an analysis and create, dashboards and so on and so forth. So these things are everything that we promise and we commit that you should be able to do at the end of 2 days, right? Even if you are not a technical person. right? This is from our experience, right? We perfected the formula after training more than 800 old people over the last 5 to 6 months. If you're interested in this, you can check out the website. It's at nan.thelead.io, right? So there are basically two links that you can refer to, should you be interested. So you can check it out, right? So the webinar is on the 13th of December, which is a Saturday. It starts at 8:30, ends at roughly about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. As for the 2-day course, the dates are available as per this slide over here, but you can also check out the link and click accordingly. My suggestion is, if you have time, go for the 2 days one. If you don't have time, you want to have an overview only, you can consider the half-day course, and you get the workflows, you get an overview, and then you can watch YouTube and try to learn it as well, right? So that's entirely up to you, right? So does it matter whether or not you end up using NAN or not? The answer is actually no, right? I think Dr. Lau, you can also flash up the slide for Make, Zapier, and NAN. At the end of the day, AI agents will be here permanently, right? It's going to change the way everything works, right? Because we're getting so much demand coming from all these large companies because everybody's looking into automation as a way to save costs and save time, right? So the first principles will apply where if you learn how to create an AI agent using NAN, you can use Make, you can use Zapier, you can use Power Automate, you can use whatever tool out there going forward as well. Shopee, for example, they have their own agentic platform, but they send a lot of people over to us because they needed to get their people to understand, the concepts of business process engineering. At the end of it, it's RPA plus the LLM in between. So the first principles will always apply, right? And sometimes it's not really a technological issue, right? But it's more about understanding the process, but then leveraging on what you know in terms of the building blocks of technology to pull everything together, right? Dr. Lau, do you have anything else to add on to it?
I think I saw a couple of questions that is about how to make money from it, how do you apply, offer it to your clients, and so on and so forth, right? And also some of the security and things like that. If that is really your concern, the 2 days one will be a better one for you to get better exposure. And we during the 2-day session, we have at least 5-6 trainers, facilitators, plus myself there to guide you through and explain things to you in more details, because you guys are not really familiar with the concept of security, hosting, what are the boundaries really are, and also how to set up a local version of your LLM and things like that, and understand the risk versus the the penalties if you accidentally leak out the information and things like that. But long story short, you can, whatever I've shown you here, right, is enough for you to kickstart. Go back, download NAN, sign up for an account, build a workflow. As long as you are not uploading any sensitive information, you'll be fine, okay? It won't break. And also you can use OpenAI, or you can use Mistral. Mistral is a very powerful tool that we will teach during the class for you to do OCR. That means to turn, whether it's a handwritten text, or whether it's some PDF, or even if you have some old legal documents that scan, right? It's not a text PDF, but it's a scanned PDF that will also work. And also sometimes that when you have recordings, so when you speak to a client, you need to do the recording and then come back, you have to do some transcription. All this, it can all be done automatically, whether is it on the cloud, on the server, or doing it locally on your own machine. And that's why I think NAN is a clear winner in that department over Zapier and Make as well.
Yeah. So I think, Dr. Lau, maybe you can just flash up, the 2 pages, just as a way to close it off, right? The AI legal page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're interested to check out, the half-day course or webinar, right? So basically it's at ailegal.thelead.io.
Hey, you vibe coded all this 3D animation.
I did this, right? I did it myself. You see, he's quite impressed with it, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't even know how to prompt this. I know how to build
So
it, but
I
don't
did
know
it
how to
myself,
prompt.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this is for the 6 hour half day webinar.
The warm-up session,
Which
the
is
online
specifically
session.
designed just for the legal profession. Whereas the 2 day course, right, it's not for just legal. So yeah, if you want something just specific for legal, then the half day course is targeting specifically just lawyers and paralegals and those in the legal profession, right? Whereas the 2 day course is if you join the public course, it's a mixture of people across the different organizations. If you scroll back up, those are the dates.
Yep.
Yeah. So December 4th or 5th, right? Actually, it's not even 75% sold out. It's 110% sold out already right now, right? We've got more than the typical numbers they've signed up for December alone, right?
Yeah.
So typically every single month we run between 6 to 8 sessions, of which 2 or 3 will be public, and then the rest are all dedicated private sessions. So if any of you are from larger law firms and you're looking for private sessions, get in touch with us as well, and then it's something that we can arrange for it. So the dates that you see over here, these are all public sessions where maybe another benefit for people attending from law firms is you get to meet people from different types of industries and different companies then, where they can also potentially be your clients. So we've had accounting firms and marketing firms, and some law firms join as well. So yeah, if you're interested, check out the sessions in January. Right? December is really full. January 15th and 16th, January 22nd and 23rd, and February 5th and 6th. Right? These are all Thursdays and Fridays. Laila, right? Is there another day for the AI for legal training? Not really at the moment. Yeah, so we've planned for just the first one. We'll see how it goes. We're supposed to be doing something with the Bar Council. I've been in touch with the AI working group to see what can be done. But this half day webinar will be our first session and the only one planned so far. All right. So
And
Chin
also,
Chai,
Chin Chai, yeah. So you can look
yeah.
at the schedule here, lah, Chin Chai.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I guess that's all right. Have we answered all the questions?
I think there's one question in the Q&A. We briefly touched on that, but I can close. Let's say if we're able to set a basic automation and a beginner automation engineer, how much we can margin and sell this to our prospect? Thank you in advance. This one, I think Warren will be a better person to share how we do it.
I think at the end of the day, right, most of the time, just like where we are right now, we are selling the outcomes, not the hours. So the key thing is that, with automation, the ROI is so high in terms of outcomes, right? Let's say you come from a 20 packs firm, right, or 10 packs firm, and you can automate and save one person's time. So that by itself is really very high ROI if you compound over the year and you compound over the next 3 years, right? So as long as you can quantify the upside that you have from it, then you can essentially price it as a percentage of, just like lawyers, right? So you charge based on the billable hours, but at the end of the day, people are paying you a premium for your advice. It's actually your insights and your experience that matters. There's always this example where there's an engineer, right? He goes in and knock on a screw, right? He helps to fix the machine, right? And then he's charging tens of thousands of dollars for it. But it's actually not the time that's required to do it, but rather the knowledge and experience that's accumulated. So as long as you can model it and tie it to the outcomes that you can drive towards, then there's a lot of demand. There's ample demand, not just in terms of training and education, right? For us, we're not training for training's sake, right? And our mainstay right now is actually AI consulting and building products for our customers. So these are looking at the contracts worth a few 100,000 ringgit a month, right? Not a few thousand ringgit per head of people being trained, right? Because companies are having issues where they've got 1,000 people doing financial operations, right? Which they know right now technology should be able to automate most of it. And they want to, but they don't know how to yet because they don't have the internal people to do it. So for any of you who are looking into going to selling automation workflows and services, if you are early, then right now there's a big shortage of such talent, and you'll be in a good position to be able to serve accordingly. Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add, and I suppose we can close it off with a song. Or if you have any questions, feel free to write into Chelsea at thelead.io, or you can DM me or Dr. Lau lah, right? Accordingly, right? If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help to answer any of the queries that you might have, right? Especially when it comes to, I suppose, organizational transformation. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Any songs you recommend,
you.
Warren? Any songs that when you mention lawyer or maybe what is the first thing that comes to you? What's the first song?
I don't know lah.
My
Suits lah.
example wasn't a good one.
Play the Suits theme lah.
Okay, the Suits theme song sounds good.
Play
Yeah.
the Suits theme lah.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening. Very very nice to see you all. And yeah, stay tuned and ciao.
Ciao.
See the money one more day for you and you, getting all the piece of pie for your wife. Everybody wanna know how it feels. Everybody wanna see what it's like. My baby wanna be a queen. Well, alright, we all deserve to find the things in this life. So looking on a little dog in the night. There's 40,000 hours out. See the light. The boss is saying I look tired. I don't mind. You'll be working in a small box till you die. For me, you gotta be free all my life. I want a little green cheese in my pie. Alright. Yeah, oh, you know that. Greenback boogie, motherfucking boogie. Now